On this episode of the TJ Thorpe Show, today we have Nick Drew, Jordan High School alum, Durham native.
If you're doing exactly what the coach told you to do, you're doing just enough to get beat. So you got to do something extra.
Not to win, to get beat.
To get beat.
What does that Jaybron Harvey look like on this new upcoming, what is it, college football 2023?
That Jaybron Harvey is gonna look like mainly a speed rusher, but like Debo Samuel, you can change him around on Madden to play running back and receiver.
Right.
I picture myself as being able to change myself to a receiver on the depth chart.
What's up, everybody? This is TJ Thorpe, and you're tuned into the TJ Thorpe Show. Today, we have someone, near and dear friend, grew up with him, played Pop Warner sports together, high school sports together, and now I don't know what he's doing, but no, kidding. He's winning state championships, and that's what he's doing. Today we have Nick Drew, Jordan High School alum, Durham native, and now you are North Carolina high school football alum. So without further ado, let's hop into where we're going. So I met you, Pop Warner.
Yeah.
So we'll start your football journey there.
Yeah, so my dad, he didn't play football. He played basketball. I was the first person in my family to really play football. I honestly don't really remember how I got started. I think I just told my mom and dad I wanted to play football, and they signed me up for Durham Eagles when I was 6 or 7.
I forgive you.
We beat y'all for the most part. What, Tri-County, right? Yeah. Everybody know Durham Eagles,
Oh, we're going to do this today. Okay,
yeah.
All right.
So, I played, for 4 years for Durham Eagles. Played quarterback a little bit at Rogers Hur. And then I played corner, of course, and then transition on to, Jordan.
Right.
Where I was there with you for 3 years. So.
There you go. And that's when I would assume you blossom.
Yeah, I would say that.
I'm not going to say it had something to do with me, but,
You helped a little bit.
Okay, thank you for saying that.
I give you flowers.
I appreciate you saying that.
I give you flowers.
You're the first person to give me, not the first, but publicly, this is the first time I feel like Nick has given me flowers. And so you'll see throughout this interview the nothing but respect and love for Nick. Definitely a little brother and somebody I've learned from, post-football and during the tail end of my career just as much as I'm sure that he's able to take a few things from me in high school. And so, while we're on the high school topic, you come into high school, you were playing quarterback, corner, what's your mentality coming in? Because that, I believe, is why there's a lot of success coming to you now, more so than even during your football career.
Right.
But leading into high school, what was your mentality coming into playing corner, being, as you said, undersized a little bit? And you have to make a splash and put your best foot forward. Right,
so I came in, of course, I was ninth grader. I was probably like 5'7", maybe, probably 110 pounds soaking wet on a good day. And like my mentality was basically, I knew I was undersized, like you said. I was typically faster than most kids in my grade. And I wasn't a big weight room guy.
Right.
My metabolism was just, at an all-time high. I could eat whatever, and I still couldn't put on weight. So my mentality was I got to be more cerebral than, anybody I play against, my teammates, and to make them better. So that was really my mentality, throughout my high school career, and then obviously going into college. Because again, I was always undersized. I knew that physically, I wasn't really matching up with, the receivers that I was going against on a weekly basis. The tight ends, the opposing quarterbacks, the running backs, all that good stuff. So my mentality was, all right, I need to be as cerebral as I can, in the film room, with the coaches, to make sure I put myself in the best position possible for me to succeed and make plays. And that's what I kind of try to do now with my kids here at Gibbons. So.
Right. Obviously, I've had the luxury of going against you and seeing you grow, as an athlete and into this level. But what are some of the things in high school that you would do, because you did have a bit of a jump from your freshman year to your senior year and ultimately getting recruited and becoming Division I scholarship corner, not just a walk-on, not just preferred, but somebody who had their school paid for?
Yeah, I think it's a kind of a culmination of all three, with speed, agility, weight room, and then being cerebral in the film room. But I think honestly one of the things like I kind of took after you, especially like my sophomore and junior year, because you was obviously a senior or junior and senior during that time, and I kind of, I know, I'm sure you remember, like I would come out to practice, and this was back when Eric Ebron would come out, and I would run routes with you guys to see it, because I looked up to you guys, like you, Eric Ebron, and I just kind of tried to be around you as much as possible, because I knew you was at a place that I wanted to get to at Carolina. So I just kind of really pushed myself. I give credit obviously to God, because without him, like all my physical attributes, my mental, all that, I wouldn't have it without him. And then my mom and dad, they honestly pushed me really hard throughout my high school career to just keep going, and that's what kind of motivated me. So I say probably all three, with the help of you, of course, and guys like Eric Ebron, and I know he loved that. He loved that.
Now that you are in a position to coach the youth, and granted, it's just here right now at Cardinal Gibbons, but speaking to a lot of the student athletes that are going to watch this show, would you say that it's good, or it's pivotal a lot of times to find that person or likeness or anybody? It doesn't have to be somebody on your team. It could be your parent. It could be whomever. Yeah. But find that one person or find that thing that you can pinpoint, that you can aim for, or that you can push yourself. Would you say that's something that really any athlete should probably have?
Yeah, I think it's really vital for especially high school athletes at this stage to really kind of gravitate towards somebody they might look up to. Again, it doesn't have to be somebody on your team. It doesn't have to be somebody on the same side of the ball, because like you said, you play receiver, I played DB. We went against each other every day in practice. When you was at Jordan, and I still looked up to you. And I just saw how you moved, and I kind of want to emulate my game and my life kind of based off how you moved. So I think it's super important to just find somebody or something that kind of gets you going and get that wheel turning a little bit. So yeah, I think it's super important.
You go to Campbell. Now, is that something that you just knew that you were going to Division I, or did you see yourself it was going to be a climb, or kind of what gave you that I can do this? Like I'm that level.
I mean, I kind of made up in my mind. I made it a goal of mine to play Division I at an early age. I'd probably say maybe in my sophomore year in high school. Kind of after seeing how you operated. And it was a rocky road, especially during my senior year. I didn't get my offer from Campbell until 2 weeks before signing day.
Wow.
And I didn't know who Campbell was, where it was at, where it was located. I think going to my senior year, I went to their camp. I got some in the mail, like most of these kids get, a little camp invite or whatever. And I was like, Dad, where's Campbell? I've never heard of Campbell. It's like, that's a crazy name, but whatever. So I went down to the camp, and I snapped. I killed it. I killed it. And then one of the coaches, he kept in contact with me throughout my senior year. I was getting a little discouraged, because obviously I was undersized, and usually 5'10" guys that weigh about 150 in high school, you're not really. Blazing. Yeah, you better be blazing. Or you better have something that's gonna separate yourself.
Right.
So I think that can't really help me. As far as my recruiting, I had a couple Division III offers to go. Didn't want to necessarily do that, just because in my mind I knew I could play at that level.
Right.
So yeah, I get my offer, I think 2 weeks before signing day in February 1, I believe, and I commit to Campbell, and the rest is history. And I think going into Campbell, one of the biggest things that really helped me is really my cerebral, because as you know, at the college level, whether it's Division I, II, III, NAIA, whatever, I mean, it's a grind.
It is.
And so I remember, I think my last semester at Jordan, I had a class. I took a class with one of my teammates, Phil Williamson, who went on to Carolina for a little bit. And I remember the teacher, he was asking us questions about like how our futures gonna go, how we thought we was gonna do, blah blah blah. And so he went around the field. He was like, Phil, you think you're gonna be you think you can play as a true freshman next year? He was like, I don't know. I mean, we got to see what but they projected me to maybe break the 2 deep depth chart. And then he came around to me and didn't give me a chance. He was like, yeah, Nick, I know you'll probably redshirt for a couple years. And so that just stuck in my mind, you know, and I kind of took that as I trained the rest of my senior year into my summer. And then when I got to Campbell, I mean, it was on like Donkey Kong. Like I made up my mind. I said I wanted to make the travel roster as a true freshman.
Right.
And so, Lord willing, I made the travel roster. And then I made it a goal. All right, I want to play in the game as a true freshman. I don't want to be that got a red shirt and make that teacher right. So I always kept that in the back of my mind. And I didn't play my first 3 games, but then it was actually after, I believe, on my birthday, turned 18. We was playing Butler University up in Indianapolis, and I went and got my first action as a true freshman. And then
talk about a birthday present.
Yeah, talk about a birthday present, right? And then after that, the rest is history. I played all but 1 game in my senior year.
I'd imagine, just with my knowledge of football, that getting some of that time early probably came on special teams.
Yeah, 100%. My first play against Butler, Coach Butterworth, he threw me in on, I think I was a gunner, and I actually slipped. I was nervous. I slipped. I was a gunner. I was a gunner on punt, and I slipped. And then I played a little bit on defense, very sparingly.
Yeah.
And then I continued to, kind of work my way. Show out on special teams, then work my way up the depth chart to get a little run.
For the kids or the student athletes who feel like, special teams isn't cool.
Yeah.
It makes you more appeal.
100%.
It makes you more appealable to the coaches, to the scouts, to everything when you can do that, because it makes you less, or you're not one-dimensional anymore.
Right.
We can use you as many ways as we can.
Right.
And obviously you've seen benefit from that, because you come in, you set these goals as a freshman, you accomplish them. Why? Because special teams.
Right.
And so obviously that takes you into a role now of the hunger of, okay, now I need to start locking people up again.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we get to locking people up. I'm sure you start playing, because that's when the phone calls was coming in and the Instagram posts. Then that's when the swag changes.
Yeah.
You start socks coming all the way up.
Bands.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
So you mentioned your senior year. What happened in your senior year at Campbell that just decided, because you alluded to it, that's probably the pivotal moment to turn you to coaching?
In camp my senior year, I was feeling great, feeling good about the upcoming season and where I was at. I was starting nickelback in the slot, locking people down a little bit. And I had a little slight sprain in my right knee. Wasn't anything major. Unfortunately, I had to wear a leg sleeve, and it did not look good on Saturdays. It did not look good.
One tidbit for those of us at home.
Don't wear a knee sleeve. Don't. You gotta bite that bullet. You gotta bite that bullet.
If you are a DB, you are not allowed
to
wear a knee sleeve, knee brace.
No,
or
definitely
any
not a knee
sort
brace.
of anything on the knees.
Because we could. Receivers coming after you.
We are throwing the ball
fade
at
route.
you.
Yeah.
Every time.
100%.
100 times. 100% of the time. Every time, and then we either will throw it short and make you run up and tackle, or we're gonna throw it deep and see what that thing was. If you check the settings or the screws and make sure everything's functioning right.
Yeah.
So we're gonna find you. Just know that.
Yeah, they will find you, because I was on the wrong end. They will find you for sure. For sure.
I was on the wrong end.
But anyway, so I had that. I had to wear that knee sleeve for my first 2 games. Then our 3rd game of the season, we was down playing at Presbyterian down in South Carolina. And for some reason, my knee just wasn't working with me that day.
Right.
So during pregame, I went up to my coach, Coach Butterworth, Coach Philippi, and I said, Coach, listen, here's how my knee's feeling. I don't know if I can go. He said, hey, go out there, warm up, see if you can't go. If you can't go, no big deal. So I go out there, and I make up my mind, I can't do it. Because I don't want to be a liability, for my team, because that's what you are, you're a liability. I do not want to be a liability for my team out there. And be the reason why we lost or whatever the case may be.
Or that's bad film.
Yeah, or bad film, right. Or you just putting bad film for the next opponent, to take advantage of you. So anyway, I went up to my coach, told him, I said, listen, coach, I can't go. Like I can't run full speed. I can't cut like I want to. I can't backpedal, none of that. So he said, all right, perfect, go get a headset. So I go down and I get a headset, and I'm the guy in charge of basically holding up the personnel cards
quality control.
Yeah, I'm basically a little quality
Yeah.
control for a game. So I'm quality control, holding up personnel cards. I don't really say nothing on the headset, but I'm listening to how like the coaches articulate and how they communicating, and I'm basically relaying the information from my coach, Coach Butterworth, who's up in the booth,
Right.
and I'm relaying information to my teammates on the sideline. So I'm saying,
Right.
hey, coach said this, blah blah blah, this X Y Z, and so long story short, because before that, I was actually, most people don't know, I want to be a doctor. I want to be an anesthesiologist. After that game, you know, I was like, man, I kind of like this, and then I talked with God a little bit, talked with my parents, and I was like, man, you know, I don't know if I want to go to med school. Another med school for 4 years, then got to do the residency, boy.
Yeah.
Then you still got, I was like, you know, I don't really know if I really want to
Right.
do that. So, like I said, I prayed about it, talked to God, talked to my parents about it, and ultimately, you know, I knew that I had a class after I got done playing where I had to get some experience hours for a certain class. And so I went to my head coach, Coach Schmidt, near the end of the season. So, hey, coach, this is what I got. I got a class. Obviously, you're not paying me. I just want to, can I help you guys, you know, in the spring, during spring ball, to
Right.
see if this is really something I want to do. So, of course, he said, yeah. So I was basically a student assistant GA, I guess,
Right.
even though I technically didn't graduate.
Right.
So I did that, fell in love with it, and then towards the end of it, you know, he offered me a GA spot, and I was a broke college student, didn't have no money, and I was like, listen, coach, I appreciate it, but I don't know if I could take this route. So one of my position coaches, Coach Philippi, he actually was leaving and took the defensive coordinator job and PE job here at Cardinal Gibbons, and he knew that I wanted to coach. He knew that I wanted to coach, so he was like, hey, Nick, hey, this is an opportunity for you. I don't have a job for
And
you.
I met him the last month.
I think you did. Yeah,
okay.
you met him. Yeah.
Yeah.
He said, I don't have an actual day job for you, but I mean, if you really want to coach, this is a good stepping stone to be the DB coach at Cardinal Gibbons. And I kind of knew about Gibbons a little bit because, of course, I went to Jordan. So I knew kind of about them, what they were about. So I said, you know what, I just take a leap of faith. I said, let's do it. Didn't have a job or anything. So I actually worked at FedEx over the summer after I graduated I think I worked for 2 weeks. I ain't last. I was like, this
ain't me.
This ain't for me.
I
said this ain't for me.
I get it.
So Coach Wright hooked me up with Miss J. She was our registrar, who's basically in charge of a whole lot, but she was really in charge of all the substitute assignments. So I got in good with her, and yeah, the rest is kind of history.
There you go.
For that first year at least.
And then you've been here.
I just completed my 6th season.
What kind of what was the coaching, I guess, atmosphere, the environment of the team? What was that like when you first got here to Cardinal Gibbons?
I got here, 6 years ago, and when I got here, like I said, the culture was already intact. They had already laid the foundation. So I think me just being here, I think it kind of just helped boost it up a little bit. Of course, with the help of players that we had along the way, and also other coaches. But I think, as far as myself, Coach Wright, and Coach Leedy, who's the offensive coordinator, I think with us being together for at least since I've been here for 6 years, I think it's done the program wonders, because not only we know how each other coach, how we operate, but the kids also know our system.
You've
100%.
been here for 6 years. It's almost like being at home with your parents.
100%. I think it definitely helps, especially defense. Like I said, they've been running the same stuff for 6 years now. A lot of them, they run it, from our freshman team, JV team, and now to varsity. So I think it definitely helps, because I always tell the kids, if you can know what your opponent is about to do before he do it, and you just that faster. So you can run a 4.8, and based off your film preparation, your studying your opponent, their weaknesses, their strengths, your own weaknesses, your own strengths, and how the whole schematically how it all plays together. I think that if you run a 4.8, that can make you really run game speed like a 4.6, 4.5.
Yeah, you chasing it down.
Because that's how I was. I wasn't.
The
I was fast. Yeah,
race.
I was fast, but I wasn't out here running 4.5s, 4.4s. Yeah, I had game speed, but that game speed came from really me being cerebral and knowing, all right, if the receiver's outside the numbers, it ain't but so many routes he can do.
It starts with the head coach. Would you say your athletes are looking at y'all and seeing that foundation and going, okay,
Yeah.
We can't out-athlete a lot of guys.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to bring it in together. Is that mentality something that you preach to your defense, your special team? Talk to me.
100%. I think like we never win the off the bus award. Like we never.
Right.
We never do, and that's fine. And I think our kids, our staff and our kids realize that on a weekly basis. We're never going to get off the bus and they're going to be like, whoa.
You probably
Cardinal Gibbons.
prefer it that way.
Yeah, and that's totally fine. Like I would rather it, be the other way. So, but I think definitely like, at least my mentality for defense is kill mode at all times. My kids take after that. So I think, with us preparing them the right way, and again, like you said, not taking anything away from Chambers or anybody else, they definitely work hard. I know that.
They had to get there somehow.
Yeah, you had to get there somewhere. And credit to them, they've been there three straight years. And I think they won the past two. So credit to them, they obviously work hard. But I really take pride in, preparing my guys to make sure they're in the right spot. Right spot, right time, and preparing them to know that, if something happens, it's fine. Next play.
We started this conversation.
Yeah.
That was the thing about you growing up in sports. You always had success.
Yeah.
Some form of success. But you weren't like me where you were a little hair taller.
Right.
You weren't like,
I wasn't a freak in high school.
I love it, but you're a freak now.
Hey, I'm a freak now, baby.
You're a freak now. How you start is how you finish. Now,
yeah.
And that's
hey, it's a marathon.
Hey, look,
sprint,
y'all
baby.
you see him do this right here?
Yeah, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Lord, niggas.
It's all right.
Look, I can't even look at you. It keeps reflecting off
It's
the
all right.
sun.
After this, I'm going to put it in the attic. I ain't worried about it.
Yeah, you put it on ice. You put it in a drink or something. It's cold.
Ah.
You're a guy that has always found a way to have success.
Yeah.
But it's funny, the common theme is it hasn't been your physical. It hasn't been the measurements. It hasn't been that. It's been
up here.
And it's funny that you would then leave college, join a staff that they understand.
Right.
It ain't this.
Right.
It's here.
I think God works in mysterious ways. Like he knew like, all right, this is where I was supposed to be, at least to get my career started. And I love it here. It's great. To God be all the glory, man. He put me in the right spot. So.
What 3 things do you like to give your players? Because it seems like they all have great relationships with you and want to be coached by you.
Yeah. I think number 1 is probably just trust. You got to be, the kids got to trust you. And that comes like you got to be vulnerable with them. Like you got to, tell them, they might, you want to tell them exactly what you've done successfully, but you also got to tell them, hey, I'm human. I done had failures. I done had certain situations where I've had to figure out how I'm going to get out that situation. I've failed tests before, high school, college, whatever. I'm only human. I'm not, a superhero, even though they might, kind of look up to me in that sense. I'm not. So I think me being vulnerable with them early on, and me being kind of like a big brother, kind of how like you were to me.
Sense of transparency.
Yeah, seeing transparency, seeing that, Coach Drew, he just like me. He fails, he succeeds, he figures it out. So I think that's number 1. And then number 2, probably just being there for him. I know it kind of goes hand in hand with number 1, but just being there for him, man.
Following through with what you say you're gonna do.
Yeah, being there for him, and not necessarily always talking about football with him.
Right.
Like, of course, I teach in the school, I teach health and PE and weightlifting, and just being there for him. Not necessarily when I see him in the hallways, not saying, "Hey, did you watch film today?" or "Hey, what's up? How you doing, bro? Like, how's school going? How's home life? Blah blah blah." And just asking them certain questions, to make sure that they're all right mentally, because we're in a time now where mental health really matters.
It's huge.
Really matters. So I think I do. I try to make it a pivotal point to, especially during the course of the season, to check on guys, not football wise, just check on their grades, how they doing, check on how they mentally, like, all right, how you feeling mentally on a scale of 1 to 10? All right, you feel like a 6. All right, why you feel like a 6? Like, kind of elaborate. So I think that, and then I don't know, man. Probably the 3rd is, probably kind of getting out there with them and playing with them.
Yes.
So sometimes, like, depending on, they'll try, especially early on in my career, they would, when I was younger, closer to age to them, they would try me. They would be like, all right, coach, well, get out here. I'm like, all right, I'll do this in tennis shoes.
Exactly.
I'll do it in tennis shoes.
There you go.
So it took them a couple seasons for them to really, but once I started getting out there, and then, like, the little brothers that was there when I first got, now they're the older brothers, or now they're the younger brothers, now they're here, and they're like, oh, yeah, I remember when you did that to my older brother when you was back. I'm like, yeah. I'm him. Don't try me. Don't try me. Even though I'm a little older than you, you can still get locked up.
For sure.
I don't have to what the kids do now? They, how y'all do it? I can't even do it right. Seatbelt.
I think mine's jam.
So I think getting out there, like I'll run scout team 7-on-7 with no pads.
Mm-hmm.
Scout team, period.
For sure.
No pads. And
For sure.
I'll be the first one to go out there,
Mm-hmm.
especially if we're short on numbers where a guy might be hurt or we might be short at DB safety. I'll get in a linebacker. Don't credit me. I just tell him, don't hit me, I won't hit you. 'Cause I ain't got no helmet, I ain't got no pads. Don't hit me, I won't hit you. But I'm going to go like a bat out of hell to come get you, though.
Right.
Tag you off at the hip. But, yeah, I think probably that's the third thing, just being out there with them.
You take all those three things, and then that puts you in a position at least to have a group of guys to take you to a state championship.
Yeah.
What was different about this team?
Them just being together all the time. Plus, us losing the past two.
Yeah.
I think this past senior class, they was really hungry. Like they felt the pain and agony of losing, to East Forsyth in 2019, I believe, and then losing to Grimsley, during the COVID year technically.
Right.
So they was super hungry, and they had a lot of experience. They had got to the last game possible each of the past 2 years during their sophomore and junior year. And so they just made a point in their mind to make it back to the state championship, and this time finish it the right way. So they bonded a lot, which obviously made it a lot easier during those tough times in the season where, we was facing a loss at, Myers Park, or facing a loss at Chambers the first game, even though we technically, I guess, won it now, but even still. Even the tough times were like when we played Cleveland, like we was down. We was down at halftime. So I think them being all together, they all came together at halftime of Cleveland.
That's a load of a running back.
And
down there.
Again, I got to give my flowers to him. Like, he's a dude. Like,
he's going to play on Sundays.
He's a freak. He's
that
a freak. Yeah,
he's going to play on Sundays.
Oh, yeah.
Mario Hampton?
Yes, I got to give you your flowers, bro. Yeah, you gonna be playing for one of them 32 NFL teams. You done. I'm telling you. And that's
so UNC fans got something to look forward to.
Yeah, but I think he might have had over 200 yards rushing.
200
in the first half.
And that's saying something because your defense is very stingy.
Yeah, we stingy against the run. But again, it's freak. Like at some point, like he gonna get his. Yeah. I told my guys, I said, listen, Hampton is gonna get his.
Right.
We just gotta try to rally to the ball, gain tackle, and try to just contain him. And to his credit, he did what he wanted against us the first half.
He made it as hard to contain.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's funny you say that, but think about, listen to that.
Yeah.
The same way you just told, you just going through it, but that speaks wonders when you go into a game and hey, coaches, he's good with it. He understands, plays are going to be made.
Yeah.
Guys, we just got to keep fighting. Rally to the ball.
Yeah.
He can't beat all of us.
Yeah.
And it's that mentality, because I talked to you on the phone, like I said before. You never have an inch of doubt in these kids.
No.
You lead into every single game.
100%.
Why is that?
I think, again, mental.
Yeah.
Like this thing in between your 2 ears, inside that cranium, that brain, it's the strongest muscle in your body. You gotta condition it. And I made it a point, early on in my career, that if I want the defense to be as successful as I want it to be, I gotta pour that into the kids. So every week, I go into it, when we meet on Mondays, I give them a scouting packet. I say, listen, I don't care who we playing. Don't matter who we playing. We can be playing New York Giants. Don't matter. You gotta go into it the mindset that you're going to the game. And because if you don't, you've already, before you even get off the bus, you lost.
Right.
You've lost.
Right. Where do you see your career going next? Because obviously I know we're looking to win the state championship repeat this year.
Yeah, 100%. At this point, yeah.
It's championship or bust at
this point, yeah. We've been there obviously 3 straight years, won it the last time. I think not winning state championship, in my eyes, and I can only speak for myself, Nick True, in my eyes, it's a failed season.
Right.
And that's just me. That's my mentality. If we don't win a state championship, won't good enough.
Why are we out here?
Yeah, why are we out here?
Why are we out?
Why are we out here?
Fully. Do you still see yourself continuing to be, cementing yourself in this area?
Yeah, I think I've gotten that question quite a bit, really, the past 2.5, 3 years.
Seriously now.
Yeah, they're starting to ask. And I always tell them, wherever wherever God want me to be, that's where I'm gonna be at.
Yeah.
I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be at this current moment, which is here at Cardinal Gibbons. Do I have an interest in maybe coaching at the college ranks, NFL? Yeah, maybe so. But honestly, I don't know. That might not be in my deck of cards that God has for me.
Right.
You know, who knows? You know, I might be going tomorrow off this earth. Who knows? So do I have an interest? Yeah, and I always listen to. But I'm at a great place here at Cardinal Gibbons. Don't want to be anywhere else. I work for a great guy, Coach Leedy. Tanya Holmes, our athletic director. Jeff Bell, our head of school. Great people, great culture, great organization, great program. So to answer your question, who knows? Yeah, I'm right.
Right now,
I'm exactly
right here.
Yeah, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be right now. You know, I don't know where God's gonna lead me. You know, next year, 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, who knows? I got a couple goals in my mind.
Right.
But you know,
that's for you and God.
Yeah, that's for me and God.
Amen.
It's all according to God's will. So whatever
Right.
He wants for me, that's what I'm gonna be. So.
Right. For all the young freaks out there,
Yeah.
or aspiring freaks, because
Aspiring
everybody ain't a
freaks.
freak.
Yeah.
We established that. The aspiring freaks
Yeah.
out there, what is it that they need to do now
Yeah.
to put themselves in the best situation moving forward?
Yeah, I think number one is you got to take care of your grades. I know it's cliche, but it's true. You got to take care of your grades. If you don't have good grades, you can be the freakiest of freaks. Okay, if you ain't got good grades, the coach is not. They're gonna come in. They're like, all right, let me see his transcript, coach. All right, he got a 2.1. Thanks for your time, but we're gonna move on. So take care of your grades. Number one, obviously. Number two, work hard and work smart. Okay, not just work hard, work smart. Okay, take care of your body. You gotta have a certain work ethic about you to take it to the next level. Because everybody, especially now in today's game, everybody like Twitter when we was in high school, it was a thing, but it won't really like it is obviously now. So I think taking care of actually working out, you don't gotta put everything out for everybody to see that you working out. It's pointless. If you want to do that, then you really not a freak.
And you really probably not working.
And you probably not, because you gotta have somebody to video record or you record or whatever. So just actually work out. You don't broadcast it to everybody. Just work out, get your lift in, get your field work in, get your film study in, and you probably gonna have to do a little something extra. Okay, because something my coach Mentor told me in college, he said, if you're doing exactly what the coach tell you to do, you're doing just enough to get beat. So you got to do something extra. You got to do something, whether it be extra field work.
Can you say that one more time?
Yeah, Coach Mentor, shout out Coach Mentor too. He said, if you're doing exactly what the coach told you to do, you're doing just enough to get beat. So you got to do something extra.
Not to win.
Yeah.
To get beat.
To get beat. And then probably third, take it to the next level. Again, mentality, man. That's what really propelled me to where I'm at. Mentality. Okay, mentality. That's all it is.
Amen. Well, and I think that's the perfect way to end, because that's the perfect theme to your story. Yeah. It's a different mentality that got you here, a different belief, a different work ethic. And I'm just glad to one, hear it from you, but to be a part of your story. That's still going on. Yeah. But to know that I left at least a little bit of an impression.
Oh yeah, for sure.
On how to do things at least somehow the right way. Because high school TJ was somebody, boy.
Hey, I've got your game, baby.
I got your game,
baby.
I got you. Look, you keep pointing with that finger.
Yeah.
Ooh, that thing nice. Let me. Can I? Give it camera. Somebody zoom in on that thing. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. So, where'd you say you live at? Man, thank you, brother.
Oh, yeah.
All right, what's going on, everybody? This is TJ Thorpe, and you're tuned into the TJ Thorpe Show, and we are in my hometown of Durham, North Carolina. In enemy lines here, we're at Southern Durham High School with Jaybron, that is LeBron with a J. Jaybron Harvey here, star D-end here at Southern Durham. It's a pleasure to meet you, brother. How are you?
Good.
Good. Nice to meet you. So, without further ado, let's jump into it. We got a big freak here. Freak alert. Cameras. Freak alert. So Jaybron is going into his senior year. And brother, I mean, you've turned a lot of heads in a short period of time. I was reading up on an article. One of my favorite songs, Premeditated Murder by J. Cole. He says, keep grinding, boy. Your life can change in 1 year. And it looks like that's essentially like, I'm sure you've been getting it in longer than that, but you seem to make a huge splash on the scene here lately. So talk about that junior season and what made that so special for you.
Yes, sir. My junior season, I came in with 3 offers, I think, from Duke, Liberty, and Arizona State.
Duke, Liberty, Arizona State.
Yeah, after I think through the season, I got more offers, but after the season, like January, I started to blow up. Like
the floodgates.
I think I got 15 offers in January, just that month alone. Yeah, so it really like turned over like 2-3 months.
And so, since up until that point, you would say recruiting was pretty steady.
Yes,
like you said, I want to get into Arizona State. Kind of like, where did Arizona State come from? Because I know Liberty's not too far from UVA. That's like closer to the Richmond area. And then obviously Duke is here in the backyard, so it makes perfect sense why they jumped on you immediately. But Arizona State, is there any connections to the West Coast, or they just were a team that really jumped on you, just saw your talents and said, here we go?
Well, Arizona State was actually my first offer.
Oh.
I had been talking to them for like a year before that, before they offered me, because of Aaron Hall and Jalen Wright, all them other players that was getting recruited. So D-Rob said, I got a player for you.
Got you.
And I was just making connections with them for a year. Then I finally started my sophomore year and had great film, and they finally offered me.
There you go. Well, okay, because I was about to say, I know a lot of people going to hear this and go, all right, this kid got an Oklahoma offer. He's Arizona State. I was about to say, I thought you were from Arizona or something. But okay. So we'll circle back here. I'm gonna turn on your time machine, and we're gonna take you back to what got you into football. What was the thing? Who was the person? Maybe it was a movie. What was that thing, if you can remember, that was like, I want to do this. This is how I'm gonna change my family's dynamic.
Oh yeah. Well, football was my first sport. Okay. I think my first 2 sports was football and wrestling. So yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, it makes sense why you're D-line, man. Shoot.
And when I was young, I wrestled. I think my first tournament, I got 3rd. I had to play up in the class because I was so big. Yeah. I had to play up in the class because I was so big. And I'm originally from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
I moved down to North Carolina when I was 5 years old.
Okay.
And up there, I was playing for the Packers. The Packers.
Okay.
And
are you a Green Bay Packer fan?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm a Ravens fan, Lamar Jackson.
All right.
Hopefully he can get it done.
You kind of got a little, y'all got the same little cut. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
I like it.
But football was the first sport I played, so and I liked it a lot. So I just kept playing it from there. It really sparked me because my dad played for West Virginia when he was in college. Yes, sir.
What position was your dad? A defensive lineman or
defensive lineman, like linebacker, just like me.
Okay, cool. So is your dad your coach? Do you guys train together, or does he kind of give you some of the tools you got now, or has that been something that you've kind of just naturally kind of just jumped into D end, or is that something that you just knew right away? Oh, I'm a defensive guy. It's just in my bloodline. I'm clearly big as all get out. Is that something there kind of what rolled you into that, or was there something else that maybe Pops might have had for you starting out?
Well, when I'm with my dad, and this summer we train together, lived. He give me some pointers, and when he's down here coming to games like that last playoff game in Scotland, he gave me pointers because I was running upfield, and he noticed that. And at halftime, he told me in my ear to stop running upfield and just hit the puller and stuff like that. He does little stuff like that.
Right. So, interestingly enough, I think you're probably the first guy we've had on the show, at least from a high school standpoint, who's had someone in their family who's played before them. And so obviously things like that in the state championship game, would you say that kind of gives you a little edge, or do you see the game a little different, being that you have someone in your family that, you can speak to a Division I level with?
Yes, sir. I definitely say that's a difference maker, because if I am doing something not correct, I can, he in the stands, so he can see it all. Like, I can just ask him for help.
He's like, coach. So you getting it from, okay.
Right, from coach and my dad.
So That's kind of how my football career was. I mean, yeah, my coaches demanded a lot out of me.
Right.
But I always knew that talk on the way home after the game, or when I got after the game and we hopped on the phone or we whatever, it was the world or the fans or whomever students were like, oh yeah, TJ, you had 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, whatever. But my dad was the guy that was like, yeah, but you dropped one over the middle. Or I saw you slip out of that break, or why you let one guy tackle you? Like that was his thing. So I'm wondering, when you get home, is that kind of like your dad? Like, I saw you what was the hold up? You didn't get off that block the right way. Well, talk to me, because I know that was the one thing I hated. I was like, man, I just want to be a regular person for like 5 minutes after the game. Like, please, just say I'm proud, Dad. Please. Right. Yeah. So finally, he got to that point, obviously, but. You save him some money with a scholarship. That helps. Right. But, okay. So this past season, as we said, you had 28 sacks?
28 and a half.
28 and a half, excuse me. I don't want to forget that half. I know how y'all D linemen are. But for 28 and a half sacks, I've been trying to break down the math. I don't know how many games y'all play, but it seems like you're totaling about 3 sacks a game at the very least.
Yes, sir.
What's that knack? Who do you watch? Because I'm sure every athlete watches someone. Who do you watch? Is it Aaron Donald? Is it a Von Miller? But where do you kind of get that technique? Or do you watch your dad?
I really watch like a lot of players like TJ Watt, Chase Young, Aaron Donald, Myles Garrett. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of edge rushers that really made a scene in the NFL and in college level to see what moves they do so I can get to the quarterback.
So who do you gear yourself after? Who would you model your game after?
I'll say Myles Garrett or TJ Watt.
And why is that?
Because most of the time I usually just use a club rip, and I think that's the most used, successful pass rush move in NFL.
Can you show me what a club rip is? I know you're a lot bigger than me, but just so people can understand what a club rip is, just stay right here. It's fine. Just just show me. I'll put my hands out. Please don't snap me in half. Y'all see how big he is. Please don't snap me in half. So I'm gonna. Right, so I guess here's my little kick step. I'm waiting for this right here now. All right, so I'm here.
Wait, we might as well go this way.
All right, bet. So I'm here.
So you here, you reach, and you club, and then rip through.
So when you do that, what's your aiming point? Like, are you waiting timing wise, or it's just whoever gets there first? Or...
Well, my aiming point is the elbow, because when you hit that elbow, you turn the whole body.
Right.
So they can't get back to you, and then you rip through.
So you know what? That's why my coach, you can have a seat, brother. That's why my coach, I think, was telling me I should probably watch defensive linemen for my releases, because receivers at home, I don't know if you saw, there's a lot of similarities between getting off a jam and getting off a block. So you might want to try to, tune in on some of those things and maybe use some of the film there and not just hone in on one thing. You've been watching TJ Watt. What other moves, I guess, maybe going into this year, could you work maybe get you ready for going to college?
Definitely my biggest move I need to work on is a speed to power move.
Okay.
Like a long arm, take it away. Like I just need to work on my speed to power.
Right.
Because most of the time in college, they're so big and long that they're going to give you a perfect set most of the time. So once you get that perfect set, you got to turn your speed into that power.
There is a lot of knowledge here underneath. It's not just bronze and just pure ability. You clearly thought a lot of this through on film. I guess you break down a lot of film.
Yes, sir.
Do you use certain moves on certain opponents when you see certain things on film? Like, hey, maybe this week this guy can beat him more of a club rip, or maybe this week is more of like I don't know if it's a move technically, but like a club spin, or maybe a big swim or whatever that might be. Do you find, at least from a defensive line standpoint, that you use some of those moves, or that you gear a move towards a certain type of offensive lineman?
Right. Yes, I do that. I mean, I watch a lot of film on that, because a tackle might be an oversetter, a low hip guy. If it's a low hip guy, you use speed. If he's an oversetter, you automatically know to go inside. And stuff like that.
So what is just because, again, you speak in terms, a lot of times people only get the receiver, the quarterback, the running back. What is you said low hip?
Low hip.
What is a low hip setter, so to speak, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, if we can stand up again.
Show me.
We can stand up again.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you on if you're the tackle right here and I'm right here and you're setting and you're on my hip like this, I know I can do a club rip to get by you because you're bottom half of the hip.
Got you. I'm on your bottom half.
Yeah,
of your
on
hip.
my
Got
bottom
you,
half of the hip.
Right. Okay. So let's step back over here. So low hip, boom, you're just by.
Yeah.
So if
speed
I'm
move.
What was the other one you said?
Oversetter.
Oversetter. So if I'm oversetting,
so
does
if
that
you're
mean I'm keeping you in front of me?
Yeah. Like.
So I'm here.
You're here, and I'm here, and the quarterback is there, and you're all the way out here.
Okay.
I know
to dip
that the quarterback is right here, and I can just go straight inside. Or you can use like levels. Like you might have me outside, and then I can spin back inside because the quarterback is still right here.
I got too far field.
Right, because you got too far field.
I tell you what, this kid here is beyond what I feel like a lot of D linemen are coming out of school. I think a lot of guys come into high school, or you're just naturally bigger usually. This is where people start separating, and they play off that. But it seems to me that you're not just all about, I'm gonna just run this guy over, I'm gonna just move him out the way. No, you're really sitting through, taking the time to get different moves, which I guess perfect now. So what schools will have the pleasure of possibly landing LeBron, Jaybron Harvey here for not next year, but the following year?
I actually just released my top 5 yesterday. So my top 5 was South Carolina, Louisville, UNC, Oklahoma, and Wake Forest.
Is it possible that you have a top 3 already?
I haven't really figured my top 3 out.
I thought you might have had a top 3. I get it. It takes some time. You want to do your due diligence with everybody, so I get that. But I guess with you having those next couple schools, you're not just a defensive lineman though.
Right.
You're a receiver. From what I was told, you told me, you're a receiver as well. So these top 5 schools, are any of them looking at you for a receiver, or is that more of a just, I just want to have my best athlete on the field all the time, so we're gonna put him at receiver and cause mismatches?
Right. Freshman year, actually, I was a soul-hearted receiver. Like I wasn't actually a defensive guy.
Oh, so you thought you were gonna be DK Metcalf?
Yeah, I thought I was gonna be like something like that. I was catching one-handers, yeah. I thought I was gonna be
spot checking too, man, for some of these other receivers with the one-handers now.
So yeah, I thought I was gonna be DK Metcalf until sophomore year. D-Rob threw me on the D-line, and I thrived.
Since you're both ways, you're going both ways here, you play offense, defense, they have the college football game coming back out. I know the last one they made was 2014. I was on it. I was an impact player. I like to talk my stuff because I don't have to create myself no more. Or at least then I didn't. What does that Jaybron Harvey look like on this new upcoming, college football 2023?
That Jaybron Harvey is going to look like mainly a speed rusher, but like Debo Samuel, you can change him around on Madden to play running back and receiver. Right. I picture myself as being able to change myself to a receiver on the depth chart.
So you also know that when you change the guy out of his position to another position, his attributes change.
Yeah, his attributes change.
So on defense, I need to know what is your end rusher attributes look like first off?
I'll say a good 80.
80. Freshman year, you coming in 80. I need you to break that down. Like speed, what you giving yourself?
Speed, I'm giving myself a 85.
Okay,
I'm not.
I like that. That was pretty good. That's solid.
Right,
I like 85
I'm
for
not going to
speed.
say I'm the fastest D in the world.
Okay. So strength now.
Strength.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I had the strength. My bench right now is probably 335.
Okay. You moving some iron there. Okay.
Right. I think I had the strength, but
I need to hear the number. What's the attribute? See, you tiptoeing around it. I need you to put it out there. What's your attribute going to be strength-wise? You said speed 85 with confidence.
70.
Oh, man, give yourself a 75.
75.
Passing grade.
On my recent film, I really haven't had to show much strength because of my mind and how I watch film and what I know I can do with that tackle. But if the people watching go back and watch my sophomore film, it shows me a lot more using my hands and throwing tackles and like that.
Go. Tackling, real quick, the defense. So what's your tackling looking like?
90.
All right, 90, off top. For those of y'all that don't know, my man bringing the lumber, so you better figure that out. All right, so on the inverse of that, you said you play receiver. What are your attributes looking like as a receiver? And again, I am a receiver myself, so I just want to, see if you have a little more confidence at catching the ball.
I think I'll be a 70, just because I would say like my route running is not there yet. Not all the way there. I mean, I can run some routes now.
All right, a
go route,
a
dig, post corner.
Anything that don't involve you stopping and going the other way.
I can run a comeback.
Well, all right, so your catching is what you said?
90.
Catching 90. All right. Route running is what, like a 70 you said?
70.
70 route running, 90 catching, ball carrying, yards after, it's all about yards after catch.
Yards after catch, I say that's a 90 too.
A 90?
Yeah.
Lord, you're rating better on offense than it is on defense. But that, hey, it is what it is. That's what you gotta, if you don't have confidence in you, who would? You know what I mean? So, okay, cool. Well, so then we get done with all of that. I told you ahead of time to have one ready for me. And I'm glad that everybody's here to see it now because I need to see your sack celebration. I need to see it. I need to see the sack celebration. People at home need to see the sack celebration. The Bull City needs to see the sack celebration. You show me how to beat offensive linemen. You show me how to, obviously you told me about your catching ability. The only thing I can see to finish the play is get a sack and the floor is yours. I could show you mine. What mine would be first.
Let me see yours first. Yeah, let me see yours first.
I've been waiting on this a long time. Last week I gritted. You know what I mean? I did my thing, you know what I'm saying? But I ain't gonna do that this time. This time I've been practicing. So, this is from my son now. My son is doing this thing. So Ace, it's for you, man. So people don't be clowning me. Yeah. So that's on you now. My son told me that I had to hit the dance. This is me on his special dance right here. We wake up in the morning and we get it in. Yeah. So now it's on you. Let's go, D-Lineman. Let's go. Let's go. Let me see something.
My sack celebration.
It could be whatever, it don't gotta be a dance. It could be just
I think I'll just get a sack and just yell. Give him one of these.
Give me one. No.
Yeah, you gotta cut that out.
No. You leave it there. You gotta do it again and commit to it now. Commit to it.
Yeah.
I wanna hear it. Do it again. One more time. Hey, watch the expression in his face. He means it. Go ahead. Yeah, that's how I used to play D-line too with Pop Warner. I was a cold nose guard. You understand me? Yeah, Oklahoma. I got another year eligibility, UNC. Yeah, all that. But okay, but look at how big this dude is. My God. All right, sit back down for everybody know I'm small.
Oh my God.
So anything going into this season, because I know obviously the end goal is obviously the NFL. The end goal is, scholarship. I would imagine these schools wouldn't even have wanted you if you didn't have the grades and everything taken care of in the classroom. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Don't make me end this interview. All right.
3.8. I got a 3.8.
You got a what?
3.8.
You got a huh?
3.8.
3.8. So that's straight A's, essentially.
Almost with some honors classes.
You got to be in there somewhere, but it's all good. It's all good because 3.8, you're beyond eligible, and you're setting the example for all the younger guys on the team.
Yes, sir.
So speaking of those younger guys, how do you want to leave your legacy here at Southern Durham? Because there's a lot of guys.
Well, I see my legacy as like being the most impactful player that came through Southern. Like, offense, defense, special teams.
Period.
As I said, I ran that fake punt to the crib last year.
I forgot about the fake punt. Yeah,
the fake punt last year. Right.
Yeah.
Right. And for my goals this year, I just want to make a big impact for my team, knowing I would be triple team chip this year. I just want to make a big impact for my team, offensively and defensively, and help my guys to a state championship and help develop my young guys so they can keep Southern Durham up. It's definitely not about me, because I do this for everybody around me, like my mom, my dad, my family, my little brother, everybody.
Cool. And you mentioned your little brother. How important is that? Because I really wish I had got there before, so my apologies. But how important is it to you? Because some of these schools are a little further out. Obviously, Oklahoma being one of the further ones. How important is it for you, your family, to see you? For you to, maybe your little brother, does he play football?
Yes, sir.
So for him to come to your games, you know, for him to just be a part of this whole experience, for you to lay down that groundwork, that example for him, how much of that goes into your decision?
I say about 50-50, because they already let it be known that wherever I go, they will support me, try to get to a couple games. So if it is Oklahoma, they'll be to like 2-3 games a season. But if it is Oklahoma, I'll say whatever place is best for me. Like the people, the internships after, because I want to be an architectural engineer.
Oh, hold on, interview going a little longer. Wait a minute, go on. Architectural engineer. Hello.
I want to be an architectural engineer, so you got to have colleges that have people that have been an architectural engineer through football or just through Oklahoma, and that's not a lot of people for very many colleges.
Well, for one, whatever you do after football, obviously you have a great head on your shoulders, so I know that will be something that you knock out of the park. And here, your family here in Durham, Southern, whatever college you do choose will definitely help you with that. But you said 50% of your decision was that, so that means Carolina still has half of a chance to get you. So make sure you do right. Go to UNC. I gotta say that. But no, thank you, brother, for your time, man. It was a pleasure.
Yes, sir.
If you ever need anything, please give me a shot.
Yes, sir.
All right. And that's it. Yell one more time so they can hear you on the way out the door. Ah!